So you're checking out your social feed, and what do you see? A 21-year-old internet millionaire driving his fancy car. A 25-year-old Wall Street trader living his best life in New York City. Or the 28-year-old in the perfect relationship with 2 perfect kids, just paid off his house and now is investing in a commercial real estate property. You, on the other hand, have gone through a rough patch. You got nothing saved. You're still driving the same beat-up car. And when it comes to relationships, yeah, the well has been dry for quite a while. My point here, gents, is a lot of you guys may feel behind in life. Well, gents, if that's the case, if that's you, well, here's the words that you need to hear that I wish somebody would have told me. Guys, the idea of a life schedule, it is a complete myth. Gents, none of you are behind. You are just simply on your own timeline. When it comes to business, in case you guys didn't know, Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon until his mid-30s. Colonel Sanders didn't franchise KFC until he was 62. When it comes to relationships, there are tons of guys out there finding love in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. Gents, you've probably heard this saying, and I'm going to reiterate it. Comparison is the death of happiness. Your situation, your circumstances, your life is a 100% unique story. Never let society tell you that you're behind. As old Gandalf would say, a man's life unfolds precisely as it was meant to. The next thing no one tells you about being a man past 30 is that your parents become more human. In fact, all the adults that were heroes and villains in your life when you were a kid, well, past the age of 30, you start to see them more as the fallible human beings they actually were. And I think this is especially important if you're like me and had an imperfect relationship with, let's say, your dad. When I was 5 years old, my parents divorced. I lived with my mom, and on and off over the next decade, I would see my dad during the summer, and at that point, he was my hero. Living with my mom, we didn't have much. We lived in a small trailer in West Texas, but in early June, my dad would show up in his car driving in from California, would take us and drive us back out with him to California to spend the summer. We'd get new clothes, we'd get some toys, and best of all, he would take us to Disneyland. Well, unfortunately, those dream summers ended when he got remarried. His new wife didn't want anything to do with us, so he disappeared. Now, straight up, when this happened, I went from viewing him as the superhero to viewing him as the villain. I mean, how could he abandon my little brother, my little sister, and me? But a funny thing happened in my 30s. I stopped looking at him as just my dad. I started to look at him as the fallible human being that he actually is. A guy that was already married and had 2 kids by age 19. I learned more about him. The fact that when he was 18, he got drafted and sent off to Vietnam. He picked up a Bronze Star as an E3 when his unit was overran, and he was one of the few survivors of his outfit. When he met my mom in his late 20s, had us in his early 30s, he was trying to do the best he could with a family that was separated, living in multiple states. And gents, I'm not making excuses for people. But gents, I am saying when you get a few years on you, you start to understand that every person is out there doing the best they can. And that person from your past that wronged you, that didn't treat you right, that didn't live up to your expectations, well, the power move here is to forgive them and move on. Next up, let's talk about energy. Remember those days you could stay up all night, crush your workout the next morning, and still go out drinking with your buddies that next evening? Yeah, once you enter your 30s and definitely in your 40s, guys, that endless energy is gone. Now, if you take care of yourself, you definitely have it, but you realize it's in limited quantities, and you realize it's about conserving it and using it strategically. And gents, don't view this as a bad thing, because what it does is force you to cut off the energy vampires. Now, I find with limited energy, I am super protective of my calendar, and I double down on the activities and habits that fuel me. Now, speaking of energy, let's talk about energy in the bedroom and ED. Now, guys, at this point, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. The reality is, as you get older, a lot of guys start to deal with ED. Now, if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, well, gents, if that's you, I want you to meet today's sponsor, Rejection Ready. Guys, Rejection Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to help amplify arousal in the brain and increase blood flow. If the usual pills aren't doing the trick, Rejection Ready could be the answer. It's a 3-in-1 formula designed to dissolve under the tongue so that you absorb it fast. You'll be ready in 15 minutes on average, not hours. And the effects can last up to 36 hours. That means you can stay confident, present, and in control when the moment's right. Want proof? Over 200,000 men have made the switch, and you can read their customer reviews right on the site. Now, getting started is simple. Rejection connects you with a board-certified doctor 100% online. And if prescribed, your treatment ships quickly to your door. Now, to connect with a provider, go to Rugiet.com/RMRS. Again, that's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/RMRS. RS and use the code RMRS to get 15% off today. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiat website for full safety information. And speaking of relationships and intimacy, one thing past the age of 30, I found that I wanted more than just sex. I wanted connection. I've been with the same woman since my mid-20s. Before that, I had a lot of casual relationships. And sex is amazing, but you know what's better? Making love. Seriously, having somebody that you just connect with, that you trust. Gents, it's hard to explain, but somebody that you can just be open with, completely open and vulnerable with, and them doing the same thing, that type of connection is, it's almost spiritual. Guys, straight up, when you find a partner that you not only are attracted to, compliment you, that you can grow with. Seriously, gents, it's amazing. It's like winning the lottery. Now, another point about relationships, a lot of guys figure out in their 30s is that you attract the people you tolerate. You see, so many guys out there complaining they're attracted in this type of a woman. Well, here's the thing. Set your standards higher. Know what your boundaries are. Understand the way that you want to be treated, and don't bend there. Let's face it, most of us when we're in our 20s, we're making choices based off physical characteristics. The smart guys, they want to be attracted to the person, but they're not going to tolerate chaos. They're not going to tolerate disrespect. They're not going to tolerate a misalignment of core values. Guys, once you've got that, it's amazing what you can do to build a solid relationship. The next thing that no one tells you about being a man past 30 is regret starts to weigh more than the risk of not even trying. Let's face it, as young men, there's a lot of things you want to try, but you don't do it because you're scared of rejection. You're scared of failure. Starting that conversation with that beautiful woman, starting that business idea, making an offer, trying to sell somebody something and having to deal with that rejection. For a lot of us, we'll say, next time. I'll try that tomorrow. Well, here's the deal. When you're in your 30s, definitely in your 40s and 50s, you start to realize, I only have so many springs. I only have so many summers left. And even with that, gents, there is no guarantee you've got any more time. So start taking more risks. And I'm not talking stupid risks. I'm talking the ones that are going to bring benefit. They're going to bring value to your life. And you just have to get over a little bit of hurt that comes with rejection. But don't worry, the more rejection you deal with, the more calloused you become. And the more you realize it's just part of the game. It's like baseball. You got to take those swings. You're going to strike out plenty of times. But you're also going to have days like the Big Amish and knock out 4 home runs. Seriously, do you guys see that game, Athletics versus the Astros? That kid is on fire. He swung for the fences and nailed it. The next thing that no one tells you about being a man past a certain age is that you don't need 100 friends. You just need a few that are there for you. I'm talking about the friends that if you need them, you could call them up, they would answer the phone, and they would drive 10 hours to be there to help you out. The sad reality about this is a lot of us have these type of friends early on. And what happens? We don't do any maintenance. We don't stay in touch with them. We don't check in on them, and then they stop thinking to check in on us. Gents, in your life, if you've been fortunate to have just a few friends like this, then take a minute after today's video. If you take nothing else from this video, send those guys a text. Write those guys a quick message. Say, hey man, what's up? How you been? I was thinking about you today. Start the conversation again. Get on a phone call with them. Drive a few hours. Go see them. In the words of Epictetus, a friend is your mirror and your refuge. Men who have close friends are a close friend to others. And when you need them, close friends will reveal themselves and shine. The next thing no one tells you about being a man in your 30s is that confidence is not something you're born with. Confidence is something you build. So there's this belief out there that some men are just born to be confident. These are the guys that come out of the womb looking good, standing straight, attracting everybody, able to say what they want and get what they go after. Now, of course, there's a bit of truth in this. Some people naturally do come off as more confident than others. But the reality of true confidence is that it's built over time and through effort. Because confidence isn't the absence of fear. No, it's the mastery of it. It's you being familiar with the risk and acting anyway, knowing that you've got the skills, you've got the ability to figure it out. So another big shift that happens in your 30s is you realize that life actually rewards action and execution, not potential. And this confuses a lot of guys, especially the ones doing everything right. You're going to the right high school, you're playing the right sports, you're going to the right college. Everybody's patting you on the back. Yeah, you're doing great, you're going in the right direction. But at some point you reach the goal, or more likely, you get off track. And that's when things become confusing for a lot of guys because they're no longer getting that outside validation that they're going in the right direction. Well, here's the deal. In your late 20s, an important shift starts to happen. All of a sudden, your potential becomes less important than actually what you're able to do with it. The question is no longer what are you going to do, but what are you doing with what you have? So focus in on direction, focus in on purpose. And that leads me to the next point that no one seems to tell you is that your purpose is greater than your passion. So your passions are emotional. They change. These are the things that you're going after that are flashy, that change every season. Your purpose in life, this is stable. Your passion is like wind. Your purpose is the deep current that drives you. In fact, once you've determined what your purpose is, it can be an anchor that when the oceans are choppy, a storm is a brew, it keeps you safe. It keeps you anchored to the position, to the place where you need to be. And by the way, your purpose most likely won't be sexy. It won't necessarily be a saying that goes viral on TikTok, but it will be something when people discuss your character, when they talk about your reputation, well, that purpose will be something you'll be proud to be associated with. Now, absent from this video were things that you want to avoid when you're a man over 30 or in your 40s. When it comes to style, guys, I got you covered in this video right here, style mistakes to avoid that, just make you look old. Guys, I got you covered with that video. Boom, right here. Keep watching. Oh, yeah.